Joining me now is a good friend of the Rebel, my friend, brand new author, Tom Marazzo, and he's on the show today to talk about his new book, The People's Emergency Act. But there's so many things happening in the news right now that touch on things that I know Tom was either involved in or definitely has an opinion on. So, Tom, thanks for taking the time to come on the show. But first, before we get into the mockery the Liberals continue to make of our country and what a bunch of hypocrites they are, I wanted to talk to you about your book. Now, tell us a little bit about the book. Don't give away the cow. Sure. Here. Tell us, a little bit about your book and I guess also why it was so important for you to write a book from your perspective and from your experience with the Freedom Convoy.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on the show. I really do appreciate it. It's really, I tried. One of the things I really wanted to do was capture this story to get into the hands of Canadians who supported the convoy. But not just them. Also, I'm hoping that people that didn't support the convoy would read this book and say, that's not what I thought that this convoy was about. Like that's literally not the same as the narrative that people were consuming in the mainstream media. And so it's a book for all audiences. It's not just our side of the story. But I will say it is a very in-depth look at what happened behind the scenes. And it's not meant to just be, oh, Tom Marazzo so great, because the book is not, yes, I'm the author of the book. Yes, it is through my lens, but the book is not about me. It's about everything and all the people that were participating in the background. And when I started doing the book, it was about 6 months after the convoy that I decided to write the book, because I wasn't sure that it was my story to tell. And lucky for me, a lot of the Freedom Corps board members said, yeah, go ahead and do it. Because I asked, I didn't want someone to think that, maybe I shouldn't be writing this book about something that belonged to all Canadians. But I got the buy-in from, the majority of the board members, or the ones at the time that were still on the board. And I felt that it was important initially that when I first started the project, just write about what I was involved in. Don't speculate, don't interview other people, because there are other books out there. Andrew Lawton did a great book, but Andrew's is based on, yes, his own experience, but also a series of interviews. So I didn't want to go down that road. I just wanted it to be like, I had a GoPro on my head, and if it's in the GoPro, it makes it into the book. So that's kind of where I was going initially. Second thing is I wanted to show all of the warts from behind the scenes, but I still wanted to be respectful. I didn't want it to be a book about division and vilification of other people. Not everybody liked me behind the scenes, and I wasn't happy with everybody else either. But I didn't think it was necessary to create sort of this division within the book and to talk about really gossip type of things. But I wanted to talk about the impacts of bad decisions that I made and other people made, as well as the good decisions. So, the book really does, I hope that it captures really the good, the bad, and the ugly of what happened behind the scenes. But I know I missed out on a lot of stuff. I mean, there's a lot packed into this book. But I also tried to capture what later on became a lot of the controversial issues. Now, I don't talk about the money, because that has been talked about and picked over, like a carcass out in the middle of the desert, by many, many, many people in different podcasts. But I did talk about, for example, this great document that Keith Wilson and many other people drafted called the Roadmap to Freedom. What we were trying to do, what was sort of the intent of that document. I spent a lot of time talking about my personal desire in my attempt to influence everybody to get as many vehicles up onto Wellington as possible. And it turns out that later became a very controversial issue. So I spend a lot of time talking about what my thinking was and why I was trying to influence that action. So there's a lot of stuff in there that has been later deemed to be controversial amongst the supporters of the convoy and social media. I did talk about a few times I had missteps doing live streams, which the legacy media just completely capitalized on. Went after me and people that, other organizers of the convoy, and tried to create this awful narrative. And, I also spent a lot of time talking about the MOU, because I think it's an important chapter to understand what the intent of that MOU actually was. Now, I didn't draft the MOU. I wasn't part of it. I didn't submit it. I don't even think I signed it, but over 300,000 Canadians did sign that as a petition and wanted that presented to the Governor General of Canada.
Oh, hey, what you just saw there is a clip from my weekly full-length show, The Gunn Show. It airs on Wednesday, but this is the internet. You can watch it whenever you feel like. You just have to become a subscriber to our paywalled premium content. Just go to rebelnewsplus.com to become a member today.